Everywaywoman is here with Andy Cohen-Healy with The Feathered Head from thefeatheredhead.com, and we are here to talk about the final piece to your holiday fashion. Can you, Andy, please tell us about how you got into hats?
Well, it's a really crazy story. I was an executive with a big media company in New York City, and as director of satellite operations, very technical. I met my husband through work, and I ended up moving to Los Angeles. We bought a house. We were given chickens, and I'm from New York City. What do I know about chickens? And I fell in love with them. And then when we got married back east at my friend's farmhouse, I wanted to have a little bit of the girls with me, much the same way that people have their dogs and cats in their weddings. So I made my wedding headpiece out of my chicken's feathers, which I'm wearing right now.
How beautiful is that?
And thank you. And I was an older bride, so I didn't really feel like having the foofy, poofy, big bridal wear that you're forced to wear. And so I wanted something really individual and meaningful, something meaningful to me and my husband. So this is what I did. People went crazy over it.
Wow.
And I started doing more and more. They started requesting them. And then before I knew it, I ended up with a feathered hat on the Today Show during the royal wedding on Kathy Lee and Hoda.
So were some of your first pieces just like your wedding pieces? Were those some of your requests? Like they?
Yes. But, initially I did primarily feathers, but then I started incorporating vintage jewelry and doing some one-of-a-kind things and really kind of expressing my creativity through feathers. And then I branched out to restoring vintage hats and kind of Frankensteining some pieces together.
So before we go into your pieces, so you moved from being an executive to following your passion.
I did.
Okay,
I
so
did.
are you still, you're not still an executive anymore, right?
No, no, I'm an executive of feathers.
Do you still use feathers from your chickens, and do you still have them? Do you still have your girls?
I have some of the originals, others have gone on, but I occasionally use feathers from my chickens when they molt because they're exquisitely beautiful, but I try and be very responsible with how I source my feathers through vendors and so on.
But
and
you know, Andy, as we're going to start looking at your pieces, I can imagine making that, because I'm an executive too, but I can imagine making that transition from a stable income to your dream was difficult. I can imagine that.
Yeah, it was really scary, and it was a giant leap of faith, and I kind of felt like I was stepping off a cliff. I was giving up a good salary, insurance, everything.
Wow.
My husband was really, really encouraging, and he said, follow your dream, and I did. And
and then this is
where
your
dream has us looking fabulous.
So I know you have a very sentimental attachment to the hat piece that you have in your hair.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite out of these?
Let's talk about some of these.
I don't like to choose favorites, but yes, I do.
Okay.
I love the ones that incorporate vintage jewelry and millinery. And but
let's talk about this one. Can you talk about them a little bit for us?
This is a restored vintage piece. This is probably from the 40s, and with burnt and cut ostrich feathers.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And so it's just a great little cocktail hat for holiday season or a little black tie event.
Now, are any of these that you've worn that are kind of like, oh, this I like to wear this when?
Well, you know, I try and keep them as pristine as I can, so I don't wear them. They're really just for the client who wants to buy them because they are one of a kind, and most of them are one of a kind, so they're not to be repeated.
Okay, so it's very, I would imagine it's very hard for you to be able to go, okay, here's this hat.
Right, it is.
Right?
I sell it, and then I spend the next 2 days being depressed that I've sold it.
So the orders are custom made, so I can just say, Andy, create this for me.
Two things. On thefeatheredhead.com, you can order it's an e-commerce, the collection that is already on there, and I do custom pieces for brides, for party goers. So for example, if you're getting married and you want a grandmother's heirloom incorporated into the piece, or you love bugs or whatever, that's what I
want you to talk about this one,
because
our producer
I know.
How
We're going to get her in
This
it.
is Every Way Woman, Every Way.
Oh my, look
fabulous.
at
It's like-
that.
So
Jackie
if I
Kennedy.
wanted to have this hat, but I wanted to have it in, let's say, a shade of gray or a dark blue.
Nope.
just
That hat is that hat. And there are other things that I can do according to the color that you want, but that is from the 1960s.
So
and
this
it's a
is
restored vintage
This is a
piece.
restored piece.
Right. Right.
Beautiful.
That's
You know,
it.
Andy, one of the things I love about your business is that you're saying you're promoting women. You made a change, but to be their individual, to be
Yes.
who they are, like wearing
Yes.
this boa.
Yes.
I feel so empowered. I'm just standing here.
I know, and isn't it fun? Just and that is really what I'm about. I know that I'm very lucky. I got to follow my dream, but for me, what is so wonderful is that I help women feel beautiful. I encourage women to follow their passion, whatever it is. Even if you don't leave your job in a drastic way like I did, if there's something that you love, just do it. Do it a little bit. Do it every single day. Do, you know, if you write, if you do, whatever you do, just follow your passion in some way or another.
You were saying that that you have a motto for your company, but there was like a one that you use on the side. Do you remember what it was?
Right, yes. I like to say that what you wear on your head is a reflection of what's in your heart.
Absolutely.
So if you're bold, if you're conservative,
Right.
if you have something to say and you want to show yourself to the world, a headpiece is a great way to do
What
it.
That's
does
a
this say
great
about
way.
me right now?
Wild woman.
Thank you, Andy, for being here
Thank
with
you
us.
so
Thank you for
much.
giving us something special
Thank
to take
you.
to the holidays.
Thank
and
you.
we will be back.
Wow, this is beautiful.
Thank you.